Okay, so I'm gonna explain this discussion assignment a little bit, just for some clarification. So, the history of the English language. This is a outcome for the course. It's literally one of five outcomes. So, this discussion will be, a little bit more formal. I'll ask you to read a little bit more. Um, I got a couple videos that you can watch. But again, uh, this is a super brief history of the English language. Like this could be an entire course or two just on the history of the English language. So, you know, don't get too frustrated with the robustness of this history. I've tried to give you like a couple different types of sources that aren't too large or overwhelming. The problem with a discussion on a brief history is it's never brief, and all of the sources on the history of the English language are really big, large texts. So it's hard to find something kind of short and condensed. I tried to do that the best I could. I think one part of the assignment that I'm asking you for is, some kind of like rough visualization that puts some of the time periods and the influences together. This does not need to be a complicated visual. You could literally draw this on a piece of paper and take a picture of it, and then post it in your discussion with your actual answers to some of the questions. So I figured, one way to make this a little bit easier would be to, ask you to make some kind of visual. And I think a visual will actually be good. And I don't care about, again, the quality of the visual because I know thinking through the visualization of these influences and time periods will actually help you remember some of this material. Okay, so that's kind of the goal of this activity. And then you have a few discussion questions that basically ask you, to talk more about what this kind of history means. Like, knowing that the English language is basically pastiche, right? It's a collection of all of these different types of languages. It's very intertextual, So what does that mean? How does that kind of change the way you see language, change the way that you see English language? Again, those questions are inside your discussion forum. So this discussion, again, is a little bit more formal, a little bit more assignment content requirement because it's an actual full blown outcome. And there's really no way to give a brief history of the English language, right? Because it is a massive history. So I think a short, rough visual that captures a bulk of the influences and the time periods will really help you digest these influences and complexities. And then some written answers to some of the discussion questions will also, I think, complete this brief understanding of the language.